I'm back, motherfucker. Anyway, I woke up today and I'm feeling good, lads, so skin review. Alright, today we are reviewing Naru V4 by Naru, and according to him, he's going for a minimalistic skin based on the Fate or Grand Order characters. So yeah, before we begin, I actually want to talk about my new ranking system. If you don't want to hear about it and you just want to get to the skin review, skip to the time on screen now. Alright, so before, I would only really rate things objectively, and I would just give my opinion throughout the video. But I feel like that's less personal, and it kind of gives out free points, especially on some skins that didn't deserve it. Yeah, it was less of a review and more of a checklist, so I'm changing that with this new system, and I believe this system will actually help keep it kind of objective, but still have my opinion in there, and it should work out. Instead of giving a point to everything that is skinned, I will start giving ranking letters. I will go from F to X, so F, D, C, B, A, S, S, or X, and pretty much that's 1 through 7 in points. So A is worth 5 points, an SS or an X is worth 7, and of course F is worth 1. You can do the rest in your head. So that's how each of it's gonna work, and I'm gonna take each point or each lettered section, I'm gonna add it up and average it out, and the final score will just be the average of everything together. So yeah, simple but kind of more in depth. Alright guys, so starting with the skin folder, we have no edibles. But yeah, there isn't anything like a separate folder to edit or switch stuff out on. However, with the help of Rock, we found some issues within the skin folder. First one is with the main menu BG. This file ends in PNG and should actually be a JPEG. This is the only element that actually has to be a JPEG, so the menu shouldn't and doesn't actually work in game. Taking a look at the skin INI shows lots of duplicate lines. For example, song select active text and song select inactive text both have 2, which results in the bottom one being used instead of the top. Right here, it's not really a problem since the text is slightly darker, only showing 200, 200, 200 instead of 230, 230, 230. But this would make a huge difference had it been colored text, so you need to be more careful about this in the future. There are also more duplicate lines with the same value but no changes. It's kind of weird stuff. Alright guys, so there's more stuff missing, but right now we're just going to go over stuff that doesn't pertain to other sections. So play-unranked is actually missing, which means when you start the map with a mod like, let's say, relax, it's not going to show it. Ranking-perfect is also missing, so you won't see it on the graph when you get an FC. There are 38 unused hit sounds, and yeah, there's more missing, but this applies to stuff later on in the video, so we'll get to that when we get to that. A wild song selection appears, and it looks good for the most part. However, there's something I don't really like. The top is darker than the bottom. I know this is a style choice, and some people like that, but personally I think it's a little too dark. Also, group and sort are not skinned. The song selection bar is the same as the bar at the very bottom of the screen, as well as the main menu background and the ranking panel. But it would have been nice to see more creativity here, but it looks fine, I guess. I really like the hearts as stars. I think it fits the background perfectly. Anyway, the Oslo. Yeah, ooh, what is that? Yikes. I can't tell if this is intentional. Like, it could have been a style choice with the logo flaring up in the background. Man, flaring up, that sounds weird. Anyway, I can't tell if it was a style choice or what, but it definitely needs to be bigger. You need to make this character bigger to cover the logo because that looks hideous. Options is skinned and clean, if I might add. So are the mods, which are done nicely. Good shit, Naru. Character mods are always hard. Now to mode select, and yeah, I got a little chuckle out of that. It's just a little grammatical mistake, it happens. So just in case the creator is actually watching, it should read, this skin only supports standard. Anyway, mode select isn't skinned, which is fine, but not fine, because you went as far as to skin the bottom part, so you wouldn't have to skin mode select. It's kind of lazy. Anyway, I prefer to see it skinned, and it definitely looks kind of bad without it being skinned. So far, everything in song selection looks okay. It fits the overall character or anime theme. so far, but as for the minimalist part, I'm not too sure. Moving on to the ranking panel, and they're just oh no dude, no, there's just so many issues. The first thing is that 300s are missing. That's the very first thing I have actually seen. From there, it just looks awkward. Like, you have the hundreds there. Where are the 300s, man? Anyway, next is the X's misaligned. Like, I see what you're going for, dude. You're trying to make it like the combo, but it's just far too big to do that, and should just be aligned, just for the sake of it looking clean. Also make it smaller while you're at it. The third is the character render, and well, it's kind of lower resolution than the actual panel itself, and is really noticeable and almost blurry. Lastly, the graph, you probably didn't notice this, but if you take a closer look, you can actually see that the top of the graph does not align with the graph itself, but rather the border, which is kind of, you can't unsee it once you see it, man. It's, Anyway, everything here fits the overall theme and looks good, except for the aforementioned stuff. A lot of stylistic choices can be made to make it look better, but more on that in the end. Overall, the skin isn't really minimal though, it just kind of has less than most anime character skins do. Now onto gameplay, which is actually now a little bit more in depth. So before I would just show a gameplay and then give a brief summary of everything, but now I'm going to target a couple things individually. Starting with the section pass and the section fail, as well as pause and fail screens. So this one is kind of mixed. I've asked a couple people their opinions and not everyone agrees with me, and a couple people agree with me. I'm talking about the character placements. I think that especially on the pause and the fail screens, the character placement is kind of random and doesn't really fit the background, and it would look a lot better without the character. You can play around with this yourself, and again, this isn't like something I would take off points or anything for, but personally I think that putting a character on a random blurred background just doesn't look good. Alright, so the spinner looks pretty good. No complaints here. It's a spinner. Now for the hit circles, and yeah, they're blurry and they're kind of standard, like SD. This guy scanned absolutely everything in HD, including the approach circle and the overlay, the hit circle overlay, but not the hit circle itself? Lol? So taking a look at the skin folder mirrors this. There is no HD version of the hit circle. So yeah, the hit circles are noticeably blurry and very, very low resolution compared to the rest of the elements, which makes it kind of an eyesore and makes me go cross-eyed when I try to play with this. Anyway, the circle itself, despite it not being HD, looks okay. Nothing special and definitely not terrible. It would be playable had it been in HD. Anyway, the score bar looks Gucci, and I actually like the color scheme as well as that little insignia. Same story with the key overlay. The font choice is also pretty nice. A little bit of an editing note here, guys. If you notice at the bottom left, the combo with the X is actually off axis, like where it would normally be on another skin. See, take a look at it on Yugen compared to this. It's actually very well off and either needs to be smaller or needs to be readjusted. And overall, the gameplay section is decent. The worst thing being that the hit circles aren't actually HD, and that's my only really standout complaint. Alright, so the last part of the video was actually supposed to be sounds, but I decided it's a little more subjective, so I'll just kind of leave that up to your choice in the comments. Let me know if I should rank or go over sounds as well in the video. Anyway, as I said in the past, I'm changing how I'm doing ranking to letters, and then taking the letters number and averaging it out to get the final score. And we're going to go over this one together for the first time, and the rest of the time I'm just going to throw up a card like I normally do, and then show the final score and talk about it. As a refresher, this is what every section earned. The skin folder / the INI file got a D, which is 3. Song selection got an A or a 5. Mods got an S or a 6. Mode select got an F or a 1. The ranking screen overall got a B or a 4. The ranking letters got an A as a 5. The pause fail section pass fail got an A as a 5. The gameplay total got a B as a 4. The hit sounds got an A as a 5, and the overall sounds got an A as a 5, bringing the skin total score to a B or a 4.3. The skin as a whole isn't terrible, and for the most part the skin actually looks nice. It's got some flaws that need to be fixed before the skin can get a better overall appearance, I guess. I'm a fan of the theme, but then again, what is the theme? You said that this is based off a Fate or Grand Order, but all I see are random characters on top of random backgrounds. You also said that this was supposed to be minimalist, and this is definitely not minimalist. However, if you meant minimalist by anime skins, like, you did have a lot less, so I guess it is minimalist in that sense. But yeah, from what I can tell, unless this like picture or background has any significance to the Fate Grand Order, I really don't know if this is like an overall part of the theme. Like, you guys see what I mean? Like, this random tree and throwing random characters in places doesn't necessarily make it themed around that. It just means that you put in a couple characters and a random picture and called it a day. I don't know, am I being a little too harsh, or am I missing something? Let me know in the comments below. Right, the ranking screen definitely needs the most work overall. You could change a lot of things for style purposes, like the bar right here on screen. I don't know what to call this, honestly. The angle of the point is different. I know this kind of sounds picky to say, but yeah, look at it compared to the rest, such as the top. Rock made a mock-up fix of this to make it look better, so you could do something like this or change it up a little bit, but yeah, definitely as a default it doesn't look that great. Second thing is that graph, man. It's So I don't know what you did here. You could have put the overlay on the inside, or not overlay, the border on the inside instead of the outside of the graph, but overall if you just make the graph a little bit bigger, it should fix itself. The last thing is actually the HD hit circles. You didn't include them. Make sure you include them next time, please, because it's just With all this being said, I just want to say, Naru, you did great, man. You made an entirely original skin, which is not something most people can say or will ever say, because skinning is hard, and you came up with something and you went with it. I have absolutely no hate towards you, and honestly, the skin's pretty good overall. It's just got a couple flaws that could make the skin better, and you know, some constructive criticism can go a long way. Anyway, huge thanks to Rock. I don't know if I'm being a dick with how critical I am. I really don't want to come across as a dick or like fucking prude or something. I just, you know, want to point some things out. But yeah, thanks to Rock, big thanks to Rock actually, as he went through the skin files, and the entire skinning folder section is basically him, because I didn't really check the INI or anything, and he did that and found some issues. But yeah, let me know what you think of the way the new skin reviews are done though, because I put some time into thinking about how I would do it, as well as how critical I should be, and a couple other things. So let me know how it is, let me know if you're into it, and yeah, I love you.